Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. Now, this video is a little bit of a spicy one going on here. So as you guys may or may not have heard, we've seen a lot of little bits and pieces in the slow roll-up of the PlayStation 5 Pro and these next mid-generation console refreshers. Think like a next Xbox, Switch 2, Switch Pro, whatever it might be, but a lot of focus on the PlayStation 5. And with this video, we actually have a really hot take, and I really want to hear your thoughts and comments on it as we go throughout the video, of one of the bigger figureheads in the gaming community, which is, well, none other than the CEO of Take-Two, or the good old head honcho of Grand Theft Auto and all these really big games, Red Dead Redemption, who is actually saying that the PlayStation 5 Pro is almost irrelevant and almost not even needed. So we're going to talk about the statements, talk about the drama, talk about everything else in between, a few other little bits and pieces of gaming news. So if you guys will stay tuned, relax, and enjoy. As well as a reminder, I believe today is the last day for our Samsung promotion. So if you guys see any of those links down below in the description or comment section, check those on out. There's 3 different links for the brand new phone lineup, for the actual tablets and watches. We are a Samsung partner, so if you guys want to check out the hashtag ad, feel free to. Support me a bunch, but also supports them. We have the Twitter and Twitch down below, and subscribe if you guys are new. Let's dive into the video itself. So as I mentioned, the PlayStation 5 has been a very kind of conflicting thing. I myself am not against it. It's always more of a specialty thing, kind of think of the PlayStation VR 2 or the Pro controller, and you don't always need it. It's not like a PC upgrade. You can still kind of make it on through easily with the PS5, and it's not the biggest deal if you guys don't get a PS5 Pro, especially on launch or whatever. And of course, pretty much every single game throughout this generation will most likely be working absolutely fine on the PlayStation. So that ahead, I'm kind of okay with the idea of people kind of critiquing it or saying it's not really needed or it doesn't really affect stuff, but it's more intriguing whenever big figureheads in the community go and say stuff, where the Take-Two CEO says that mid-generation upgrades, so think like the rumored PlayStation 5 Pro, or if there's a new Xbox, or even referencing the older prior generation, the PS4 or PS4 Pro, are saying that they're actually just not that meaningful. They're kind of worthless. They're not really needed at the grand scale of things. Now, once again, on a really high-level stuff, I can see it. If the game still runs well and is optimized well for the consoles, Xbox or PlayStation, it makes sense. I think it's 100% makes sense, because they're not going to go and let these people go and just spend 42 million people just waste their money on their consoles. They're still going to make sure it runs well. Now, it may be like 4K 30 FPS instead of a 4K 60 or even 8K especially, which that's more of like the higher end levels if you want to spend that money. Kind of the same thing for PCs. I have a 3080 Ti, and that's a pretty decent card. It costs a decent amount of money. It runs very well, but if I really want to be an enthusiast and try to run 8K or anything else, I could have upgraded to a 4090 and spent the money. But do I need it? No. Do a lot of people that have PlayStations or Xbox right now need all that upgraded stuff? No, but if they're enthusiasts, they may want to, because, well, it's a nice thing. They want to have that nice graphical updates to be the guy who's on the new tech. Or sometimes you're just rich. That's how it works. Sometimes you got the money and you want to go and spend it on the next higher tier stuff. And that's why it's kind of intriguing too, because apparently it doesn't even really affect anything from the gaming sales and markets as well. I'm sure it does a little bit, but it's probably more of a non-figure. So saying there's been some buzz lately about the potential mid-generation upgrade, specifically a rumored PS5 Pro. And while there hasn't been any official confirmation of that yet, it has gotten plenty of people talking about the need or not for such upgrades, both for consumers and developers. And let me know if you guys even think we need one or not. So, but for Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick, at least the mid-generation upgrades don't really impact much. Speaking to IGN ahead of the release of Take-Two's Q1 earnings, Zelnick said that it would need for a mid-generation console upgrade all depends on what that mid-generation upgrade would even look like. So as of right now, our current expectations on the PS5 Pro, as I mentioned, is potential for 8K 30 FPS. And I've talked about this before, is that the 8K isn't really a standard, on TVs or even gaming monitors. The 8K is a very substandard section. Maybe in the next few years, in 2 or 3 years from now, when it becomes more commonplace for a PS5 Pro, maybe the market will shift and make the 8K a little bit more of a standardization for TVs, etc. So that might be a little bit more normalized. But maybe kind of what he's saying right now is that 8K is not the standard. I still think 4K is probably the most bigger standard for most TVs. And, well, you don't really need to go utilize much stuff unless you're pushing for the 4K 60 FPS, which is still a nice upgrade. But once again, it's not a fully needed upgrade. A lot of folks sometimes would be fine running still on 30 FPS or even just downgrading as well to a lower resolution, but then keeping the higher FPS uncapped frame rate. And it's kind of a big thing to note, because right now it may not even be needed. If the PS5 is still well optimized. And we've even made a video earlier on this week saying like that even PCs were very, very like comparable towards like a current like a $1,800 PC, still comparable to a $500 PlayStation 5 due to optimization and how they're all ran. And that's why it's intriguing, because at least in my opinion, it doesn't really seem like as of the second we need it. We haven't really seen too many games that have fully pushed the PlayStation or Xbox to their absolute limits, where they're almost unrunnable or frames are kind of noted. Now, there is sometimes optimization issues, yes, but I feel like right now it's whatever. His big kind of polarizing statement, though, is generally speaking, the mid-generation upgrades really even haven't changed much, basically saying that they're irrelevant and not even really needed. He said, later repeating that such upgrades aren't all that meaningful, and he confirmed that they don't change the way he thinks about making games or selling games from a publisher's perspective. So they're basically saying for us that like a Rockstar for GTA, Red Dead Redemption, remakes, bullies, or new IPs, we don't necessarily even have to think about this for their games. Although, there has been rumors of them having a GTA 6 and PlayStation 5 Pro release bundle or trying their best to go and simul launch that, so maybe think like have a PlayStation event and they go and showcase and highlight that on up, which once again makes a lot of sense and have a chance to go and, well, you know, it just makes sense. Like, it's like a big hype game with a big new hype console, and PlayStation is currently like the big market leader in terms of new sales and new developers for this current gen. But it kind of seems like it just doesn't care, and that also probably has some also merits too from PlayStation 5 Pro or PlayStation 4 Pros, where they already gone through the cycle, so they have the actual on-hand information. So it's not surprising that Zelnick feels this way, especially in this generation. Historically, mid-generation upgrades like the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X were largely focused on graphical and storage improvements, which is funny because, well, yeah, they didn't have a big improvement in terms of GPU, CPU, making the console run better, which that is where the current rumor is. Not for the PlayStation 5 Slim, that's kind of what they're saying for this. It's just better storage, better like optimization, maybe smaller console. PS5 Pro is rumored to actually have better specs, like a better motherboard, better GPU and CPU, maybe it'll once again run 8K. So it does actually maybe change stuff up a little bit, although I'm sure the sales will be the same either way. But they go and say like the prior generations for like the Xbox One X or Pro were nice for consumers that didn't really change anything at the end of the day. But this, like I said, will change a decent bit. And this generation specifically, the market is dealing with a slower adaptation of newer consoles due to the shortage and the, you know, semiconductor stuff, all the sold out stuff, scalpers and all of that as well. So they also said they spoke to Zelnick about the rumors of the Switch successor too. So either, I almost want to say this would be a, like, it's technically a new generation, but it's kind of like a mid-generation due to the PS5 and Xbox, so take it how you will. And they said, he didn't have much to say. He did say that the publisher would almost certainly be an early supporter of such a console. Elsewhere in Take-Two's earnings, they also learned that the Grand Theft Auto 5 has once again sold another 5 million copies to a total of over 185 million unit sales. Which is also kind of funny too, because although they're not saying mid-generation refreshes do so much, my counterpoint is that, bro, they released this game on PS3 and it's now been sold on 2 different consoles. So while a mid-generation refresh may not change much, I still think the fact that they're still supporting and ongoing all the future generations, it means a lot as well. They said they posted net bookings for the quarter of $1.2 billion of 20% year over year, and they also are preparing to release 3 immersive core games this year, so they're that fiscal year, with an even bigger release year on the horizon for the year afterwards. So that's why a lot of people are also assuming GTA 6, but also maybe some big remakes throughout this year, and then GTA 6 starting to hype up and sell stuff as of next year. So all these earnings are going insane. I do think the PS5 Pro, I'm kind of in the indifferent side. I do kind of feel like it's needed for the enthusiasts, but not needed for the common folks, and I'm sure a lot of game devs are kind of indifferent too as well, because as long as they can sell their games and people are buying the games, I think that's all that matters to them at the end of the day. Now, some late night stuff. We also have some brand new PS Plus games over here for August. Sea of Stars. I really want to play this game and stream this game on my Twitch, or off the Twitch. Check out the Samsung links down below. Just Are All Humans, fantastic game. Lost Judgment as well, very good game. Destiny, which makes a lot of sense too, to get the player base up and bumping, and as well as is owned by PlayStation and moving out to a very fun multiplayer game. So these are all the brand new games coming out over here. Highly would recommend quite a few. Atlas Fallen apparently is awful as well. Apparently the critics do not recommend the game. The top critic average is very, very low, and the game itself had potential, but some of the animations were slogging, and apparently people are just not as happy with that. We also have a lot of drama too, guys. Don't forget about the $50 Red Dead Redemption, which is also kind of something to go take in mind for the PS5 Pro, not necessarily being meaningful, or they may be slightly out of touch in the gaming market, but I'm once again curious on your thoughts. And last but not least, the Twitch Twisted Metal TV show. A lot of folks have been saying it's been really, really good. Apparently, it's been one of the top spots for streamers' top original series. And of course, this is based on an old school video game too as well. So apparently, video games have still been doing phenomenal in terms of the whole gaming market. I think it's been very, very good. So got to give a thumbs up for all of this, all this gameplay, all the good old school games, Last of Us especially, and besides like Halo. I think Halo still did okay, but other than that, a lot of the TV shows have had really good reception so far. So I want to hear your thoughts and comments on all of this. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below if you guys want to follow. And of course, once again, we're almost on the very tail end of our Samsung promotion, so check on all those links down below, hashtag ad and Samsung partner. And on top of that too, we also are going to probably do a giveaway after this event's all done, just to thank you guys for letting me mention those on the video. So I appreciate you guys also watching, and your thoughts and comments down below.